Hello, my name's Lily and I'm going to give you a quick run through on how to set up and use the automatic bank feeds on Quickbooks Online. Now there's only so much information we can show you on this due to there being such sensitive nature. However, we can go through the step-by-step process and then show you how to start using the bank feeds once it's set up. So in order to first of all connect a bank, you can see on your home screen in the right hand side there's the option of connect another account. If you select this button, you're then presented with the option of where you can start pulling through your account details. So at the top, you basically want to put in the provider of your bank account that you want to link. If not, if you already can see it in the list below, such as Lloyds or NatWest or HSBC, then obviously you can select these and you can work through the step-by-step guide. If it doesn't appear in the list, start typing it into the box and you should be presented with some additional options. So for the purposes of this, we're going to say that it was a NatWest bank. Once you select the bank, you then get the option of putting in your customer information. So it might be your customer number, your account ID, your customer ID. It'll be all the information that you normally provide when you're using an online banking. You're also going to need either a PIN or a password or a passcode, again, which you would normally use when you're doing your online banking. Once you select login, the next screen past this step is where you're presented then with the list of your customer bank accounts and you can select which one you want to link to QuickBooks. Once you've linked through, it might take a couple of minutes, but once it's all set up, you're then presented with a screen such as this. And this is where you can start to match your bank transactions that come through. So the bank feeds will run automatically in the background, even if you're in QuickBooks or not. So every day you go in, you might see that this list starts to grow and your bank transactions will slowly add up. You can also see that at the moment there's some which are in green which have been highlighted as matched or recognised. This is because QuickBooks has automatically picked up from the payee name and the amount received that this matches to a customer invoice. If you're happy that that agrees and you want to say that that is correct, then all we do is click match and click the right hand side match as well, and then the transaction has been added to your QuickBooks. As you can see, if we click in QuickBooks, the deposit for Jordan Burgess has now been added. The more that you start to use the bank feeds and the more information you put into your QuickBooks, the more they're going to start to match both customer invoices and also expenses, such as down here with the IT support centre. You can see that it's been matched because it recognises that anything to do with this payee is in relation to business licences and permits. Where you've got uncategorised income or uncategorised expense, we can again start adding this into QuickBooks. So for instance, this hotel expense. If we click on it, we can start to provide additional information as to what it's in relation to. So where we've currently got uncategorised expense, if we change this to travel expenditure, then we can start to say that anything that comes through with the description as hotel, we'll know that it's going to be a travel expense instead. Once we've selected that we want it to be a travel expense, we can then change the VAT code and also allocate a class if we need to. So in this instance, we're going to say it's a VAT code of standard, and we're asked whether this is a default code. If it's something that travel is always going to be standard rated, or you know that expense is always going to have the same VAT code, then set it up as the default, as it saves one less thing you've got to enter later on. Once you're happy that all the information is on there in relation to this expense, if we click add, you'll then see that the transaction again moves from the new transactions to in QuickBooks, and here it's been added as an expense to your registers. If there's any transactions in this list which you don't want to be put into QuickBooks because it's a duplicate or it's an error or you've already put it in yourself, then what we can do is we can select it. We can mark it down the left hand side, and under batch actions we can click exclude. Once we've excluded the transaction, it moves to the excluded section up here, which is essentially like the bin within QuickBooks. It's not in your system anymore, it doesn't show on any registers, and it's essentially been discarded. If you've realised you've excluded something by error and you want to add it back into your system, there's the undo option on the right hand side. By selecting undo, the transaction is then added again to your new transactions, and you can add it to QuickBooks from here on in. If you've got any questions regarding any further bank feeds, then leave them in the box below. If not, feel free to watch our other videos.